People often ask me, and I think they tend to ask Buddhist therapists and Buddhist psychoanalysts, do they expect their clients to practice Buddhism? Do they encourage them to meditate? Do they meditate in the session? And there are as many responses as there are clinicians. For me, I think the primary impact of my practice is my wish just to enter into the reality of what my clients are bringing to me. So as much as I'm capable of not hearing them through a filter of theory, not hearing them disengaged from what it is they're presenting, but really trying to be with their reality, which is really a foundation of Buddhist practice, is how to tolerate and enter into reality fully, with all of its difficulties, challenges, traumas, not to respond with our habituated tendency of aversion toward what we don't want and real clinging toward what we want more of. I think it's very tempting as a clinician to do that as well. So you get a sense that a client is moving in the direction you'd like to see them go in, thus it can elicit a kind of excitement or a wish to push them fast on that path before they diverge and go in another direction. So the practice is a way for me to notice that and still try and stay with the other person's reality. Some clinicians who are not Buddhist or who are not inclined toward religion in general would say that any good analytic training will help you do that. That the very nature of being analytic is, as Freud said, engaging with our evenly hovering attention, tabling our biases. But in my experience, the discursive mind is very seductive. And especially a refined intellect, it can feel like a tool that we cling to without even knowing we're doing it. And that creeps into the clinical space often. And clients feel it. They feel that somehow they're not getting it right, they're not doing what the clinician is wanting them to do, which sometimes is a projection of their historical experience with a caretaker or a primary person who was controlling, but sometimes they're on to the truth, which is that their therapist would like to see them do A, B, and C and not E, F, and G. So I think, certainly for me, Buddhist practice and religion generally is a way to be a fellow traveler, as Irvin Yalom, who's an analyst, talks about with the patient or the client, to not see them as merely struggling, merely symptomatic of pathology, or as someone who can get it right or wrong, but part of the human family of struggling and healing. So there are many ways that practice influences clinical experience, but I think for me the primary influence is a feeling of humility, and a willingness to really get what it is the client is presenting without getting trapped in my own response to it. Or noticing, being more attentive to the fact that I am having a response to it. And again, there are many clinicians who would say you don't need religion to help you do that. But in my experience, the religion is a profoundly humbling impact on the clinical space. And I hope that it cultivates a certain kind of trust that my clients experience, because I sense that they are intuiting that I don't see myself as somehow beyond what they might struggle with or get ensnared in. I see myself very much in the struggle with them.